Now in this video we're going to have a look at how to produce what I was referring to earlier about tables of values. So this is the graph we're going to draw, and we sometimes use this sort of language, which means basically draw the graph from -10 to +10, like so. -10 to +10 in the x, which normally means we do the same in the y. So this is what we mean by a table of values. So it's just a really nice way of organizing our coordinates. So before I was getting you to write coordinates and having the freedom to make any up that you want, now we're going to try and do it in a nice tidy way. So what we normally do is just have consecutive numbers, and quite often they have negative numbers, so we have to get used to those as well. So I'm going to include them. So I'm not making the random numbers up, I'm choosing the 4 easiest numbers I can possibly use and then chuck in a couple of negatives that follow on. So in an English sentence, this means the y coordinate is always 3 times the x coordinate, add 1. So if we're using x to be 0, I'm going to start there because it's the easiest one to start with. It's 3 times the 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. So that goes in there. So if the x coordinate is 0, the y coordinate is 1. It's like the same as writing a coordinate 0, 1. Now we're going to do this with every single one. So we go to 1. So it's 3 times 1 plus 1, which is 4. So that goes in there, and we can plot that coordinate also. So if x is 2, double that, plus 1 is 7. Plot that one, and you should be able to see a pattern emerging already. So keep going. Negative numbers, be careful. So it's 3 times -1, which is -3. Then we're going right, because we're going to add, so that's -2. And again, this way is -5. So we can plot that. So you should be able to see that they are making a straight line. And because this is straight line graphs, you know you're right. Now, knowing what we knew about y-intercepts, look at this one. +1, it's the bit without the x. There it is. It's crossing at 1, so that's all good. And you might notice something else. You might notice a link between this number here and these numbers here. If you haven't, just maybe pause it and have a look. But you should be able to see that these go up in 3s. As these numbers get bigger by 1, these go up in 3s, and that's simply because this is a 3. So every 1 along in the x, the y goes up in 3s. If that was a 2x, these would be going up in 2s. So it's a really nice way of checking your work. Now, this essentially is the same for any of these, but it might not look like y equals, it could be x plus y equals, but they're all the same. Just try and describe it as a sentence as we did in the earlier videos. You shouldn't have a problem at all.